everyone, welcome to the Aquarium of Niagara's Facebook Live. My name's Kelly, I'm one of the marine mammal trainers here at the aquarium, and today we're actually going to be hanging out with our rescued gray seal, Della. So for those of you that have been to the aquarium before, I'm sure you guys are very familiar with who Della is, her rescue story, but for those of you that are not familiar, we're going to get a chance for you guys to hang out during one of our sessions so you guys can see what a seal session is like and learn all about Miss Della. Now, don't forget, if you guys do have any questions, feel free to leave them in on the comments, and we will be more than happy to answer them throughout the Facebook Live session. So we're actually going to get our animals all situated, and you guys will be able to see what our session looks like. All right. Okay. All right, guys, so this is Della. She is actually one of our gray seals. So here at the aquarium, we do have two gray seals, Della and Medusa. And one of the most commonly asked questions we get about them is why they're so much larger, why their faces look so much different than our other seals. And it's just a species difference. So just like you guys might have different species of dogs or cats, these seals are just different species too. So when you look at Della, you're going to notice that she has that very long snout. They're also kind of nicknamed horsehead seals, so they have that very long snout, and they also are just much larger in size. So right now Della does weigh about 340 pounds, and she's actually kind of losing weight right now as the weather starts to get warmer. But during the winter, we have seen her get anywhere from about 360 to 370 pounds. So she is a pretty big lady. Now, another thing you're going to notice about Miss Della is actually kind of right along her neck area right here. You're going to notice her fur is a lot lighter than the rest of her body, and that's because Della is actually undergoing her annual molt. So for those of you that are not familiar with molt, it's basically just once a year the seals will actually shed all of their fur off, and they actually grow fresh new fur, so they get a nice new fresh coat. So Della's a little bit blonde right now, and actually over the next few weeks she will start to get pretty much all blonde, and then nice new silver fur will come in to get her a nice fresh coat. Right, Della? Now, Della is one of our visually impaired animals. Della does have cataracts in both of her eyes. So a lot of people also ask, why are her eyes so large? Her eyes are pretty much always that large. All gray seal eyes are that large, but you can kind of notice that she does have some discoloration to her eyes, and that is just due to her cataracts. So Della didn't always have cataracts. She did develop them when she was a little bit younger, but we do a lot of things to make sure that her eyes stay nice and comfortable here. We give her medicated eye drops prescribed by our veterinarians, and you'll also notice as I'm working with her, we use a lot of verbal and tactile cues just so she knows exactly where we are, what we're looking for. We are able to train her just as well as any of our other animals. It's just all of those verbal and tactile cues. So for example, if I wanted to ask Della to roll over, it's kind of just a little tap, and then we can kind of just examine her entire body, and us touching her just kind of lets us know, or lets her know exactly where we are, and when she has done a great job. Nice job, Della. Good girl. Now also on Della, you'll notice that she has those whiskers on her face. Now the technical term for those whiskers is vibrissae, and those are pretty much just sensory whiskers to help Della navigate around her environment, especially because she is blind. She's going to rely very heavily on those whiskers in order to feel around her environment when she's getting too close to other animals, or even just approaching toys in her environment, or even getting too close to the edge of the pool. So those are extremely important for Della. Fish. Good girl. Now, as Della is eating all of her fish, you will notice she does swallow all her fish completely whole. Della does have nice large teeth in her mouth. However, they are just going to use those teeth, to grasp onto their fish, and they do swallow it completely whole. Now, you guys are also going to get a chance to see me brush Della's teeth. If you guys tuned in the other day, you did see our sea lions getting their teeth brushed. Our seals get their teeth brushed too with the lovely seafood flavored toothpaste, just to make sure their teeth stay nice and healthy. Open, touch. Nice job, Della. Okay. Good girl. Now, another cool thing you'll notice about Della is actually on her front flippers here. A lot of people don't know, but they do have nails, just like we have fingernails. Gray seal nails are actually much thicker than harbor seal nails, but they do have those nails, and they're going to use those to climb up on rocks, ice, beaches, or even rip apart really large fish out in their natural environment. But because they don't wear down as easily here at the aquarium, we do train them to allow us to voluntarily clip them, and we actually just use really heavy-duty dog clippers. Fish. Good girl. Now, Della was rescued off the coast of Delaware all the way back in 1990, so her 30th birthday is actually coming up this year. So Della was born out in her natural environment in the ocean, but was unfortunately deemed non-releasable by the U.S. government. She was actually found at just a few months old as a stranded abandoned pup. So due to that, she was taken into a rescue facility off the coast of Delaware, and she actually lived at a few other facilities before coming to the Aquarium of Niagara. She lived at the Brookfield Zoo before us, and she just came to us back in 2015. But Della is very, very happy here. We're very happy to have her. She's actually our second gray seal we've had here at the aquarium, so we're very happy to kind of expand our species population and work with other zoos and aquariums as well.
So we do have a question,
Sure.
which is, will she hunt for fish on her own?
That's a great question. So we do give our animals a chance to kind of use those natural abilities to hunt or even forage for their own fish here at the aquarium. So we do have certain toys that are kind of like puzzle feeders, if you will, that we can put fish in. And Della has definitely figured out that those enrichment devices sometimes do contain fish, and she will interact with them in order to get that fish out. We have also had the opportunity to get live fish here at the aquarium, such as minnows, and that's a great enrichment for our animals, and Della was a rock star at hunting for them on her own, so she definitely is able to hunt for her own fish. She just has the luxury of us feeding her hand-fed most of the day, but yeah, she's going to use those whiskers to kind of feel around for those live fish as well. Great question. Fish. Awesome. Yeah, we can be good. Wave. Okay. Alright guys, well Della's going to get ready to say goodbye, but we're going to continue the video, so if you guys have any last minute questions. Girl. Water. Okay. Fish. Bubbles. Okay. Fish. Della done. Awesome. So that done session or done cue kind of just lets our animals know that their session's all over. They're gonna not get reinforced for anything that they're doing on their own time, and we're actually gonna take a big step back. So Della knows that was the end of my session.
We got another question. Does she swim a lot with having cataracts?
Yeah, so Della is going to swim just as much as any of our other animals. For those of you that have been here at the aquarium, Della is kind of one of our more laid-back seals, so a lot of times you'll see her doing a natural behavior called bottling, and it's kind of where she's just standing vertical in the pool. Although she's not touching the bottom of the pool, it's kind of just like a resting position, and again, that's called bottling. So during the day, that's kind of her resting, but she will swim around with our other animals. A lot of our other seals out here are little bit younger, so she doesn't really interact with the younger ones too much, but she kind of just swims on her own.
I have one question, Kelly.
Yes.
What is this stuff
out here in their exhibit?
Yeah, so you guys probably noticed in the background we have kind of a contraption over our pool, and this is a perfect example of an enrichment device. So it's kind of just some black tubing that we strung a old fire hose, canvas fire hose through, and kind of just made a little swing for them, if you will. And actually all of our animals have been interacting with it all morning, kind of just resting on it. But even that circular object that's in a pool, it's just anything to kind of get our animals active, involved in their enrichment a little bit, and it's all completely voluntary things. So if they want to interact with it, they're more than welcome to, but we're not asking them to. As you can see, Medusa's starting to climb on her swing a little bit. But the main purpose of enrichment is just to encourage them to use their natural abilities. So for example, they would naturally climb up on rocks and ice and beaches. So Medusa climbing up on that black tubing is kind of imitating what she would naturally do. And these are our two young boys out here, very curious of what we're doing out here.
Hi, handsome.
Any more questions?
Nope, we don't have any right now.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for letting us introduce you to Della. When we open, please be sure to come by and see her in person and hang out with her. We do just want to remind you of a few things before we go. That tomorrow a virtual Seaster will be happening, and we're actually going to take you guys on a tour of our first floor exhibits where you guys can count how many Easter eggs are in each exhibit. So make sure not only to learn about each exhibit, the species that live in there, but pay attention to how many eggs are in each of those exhibits, because we actually have an activity that you can count how many eggs, and if you remember that number and you're correct, you guys might be able to win something. So all of those contest details and the Easter egg hunt form can be found at our website at aquariumofniagara.org. So we look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow, Facebook Live at 2 p.m.
And we actually just had another question pop
Sure.
up. Do you do different enrichment with scents as well as physical objects?
Yes, absolutely. So the majority of the enrichment we do is physical objects, but no, we use a lot of different things. We can use different scents, like different cinnamon or perfume. We can use visual items, wearing crazy hats, crazy pom-poms or streamers. And even just different music too is something different for them. Since we've been closed, we've actually been kind of playing different animal noises for them, just because it's something that they're not used to. So no, it doesn't have to always just be the physical enrichment. We try and do everything in our power to kind of wow these animals each and every day, just to make sure that each day is fun, exciting, and different for them.
Awesome. That was the last minute question that popped in at the very end.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much again for tuning in, and we hope we will see you guys tomorrow on our Facebook Live at 2 p.m. for our Easter egg hunt. And don't forget, even though we are closed, we are still caring for our wonderful animals, and we look forward to seeing you guys soon. Bye, everyone.